Hi, welcome. I'm Ashley Schrader. Today we're going to play with chair yoga. We're going to work with the low back. We're going to do some leg strengthening, and then we'll do a nice long shavasana at the end. You might grab a strap or a belt. We're going to use that to help stretch out the shoulders a little bit. To begin, find a chair. And if you'd like a little support for your sacrum, go ahead and just grab a little pillow, especially a nice firm pillow, and you can slide it back behind the pelvis, and you can use that to kind of push back into. We don't want to lean all the way back into the back of the chair because what we want to do is be able to root down through the ischial tuberosities, the two kind of bony nubs at the bottom of the pelvis, and then use that to get taller in the spine. And notice the feet, they should be connected to the ground. And you can close the eyes completely if that feels accessible, but you can also just keep the eyelids heavy and use the gaze as an anchor to remain present. And then bringing all awareness now to the soles of the feet and the sensation of the floor beneath them. And then go ahead and use that mind's eye to work your way up the legs. Notice the knees, the thighs, and then notice the weight of the hands, the sensation in the palms. And watch the arms as they might get a little bit heavier as you begin to relax. And the shoulders will shift back. The chest will lift. And there's this slight drop of the chin towards the chest, which we call Jalandhara Bandha. Now, with the structure, the physical structure complete, we'll now shift awareness to breath. And before we change it, just notice where it exists. Where is it most noticeable? Is it the belly, the heart, the throat, the nose? Go ahead and take one palm and take it to the area where you feel the breath most fully. If it's the throat, you could just very gently tap that area with the two fingers or the nose with two fingers. And just take a moment here to thank that area for holding breath. And release the hand back down. And then we'll start to expand the inhalations here through the nose. And then we watch the breath as it leaves the body. And then inhale back in through the nose and watch now for involuntary pauses. Can you start to smooth out the inhalation? And smooth out the exhalation. What about the space between the inhale and the exhale? Maybe removing the pause here so that it becomes one fluid circular breath. And keep that connection to the breath. You can go ahead and open the eyes, and we'll begin with 6 movements of the spine. So we'll start with this cat-cow-like movement. So you can keep the hands there on the thighs. And inhale, you take the shoulder heads, draw them back a lot, and pull the chest forward. You could even hinge at the hips for a little more depth. And then on the exhale, push through the palms and round out the spine. Take the chin in towards the chest. And again, you can lean back there at the hips for a little more. Inhale, find the expansion. Exhale, empty breath as you contract. Inhale, spinal extension. Exhale, flexion. And continue on noticing if you can kind of explore certain areas of the spine. So you might hang out at the bottom of the exhale and just kind of play with grabbing a hold of the knees and really making some space between the shoulder blades. Same with the inhale. You might explore that a little bit more deeply. Retract the shoulders back a little bit more and really connect to engaging the rhomboids there between the shoulder blades. And allow you to kind of go at your own pace. Some people like to kind of explore lateral movements. So you could take the rib cage out laterally and kind of make this like stirring action with the spine. And it can be super small. Notice the whole time your pelvis is still connected. You're still completely supported. So that was our kind of flexion extension. Now we'll do some twists. So go ahead and take the left hand to the outside of the right thigh, and then you can reach the right hand for the back of the chair or just for the side of the chair, and then lift, lift, lift the chest. Empty the breath. Inhale, come back forward, and then switch sides, right hand to the outside of left thigh. You can catch the back of the chair there and twist. Inhale brings us back to center. And then go ahead, just like before, I'll let you kind of explore how it feels at the kind of end of each pose. So you might notice that the more you can really draw the navel up and in as you complete the exhale, the more lift you can get through the thoracic spine. And then we come back through center. And then notice too what happens in the legs. When you take your thigh and press it out laterally into the hand, you really get some extra counter pressure to deepen the twist. And we got one more. After your last round, you'll come back through center and we'll do some lateral movements here in the spine. So you can grab a hold of the side of the chair here. Inhale, reach the left arm up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, lean over to the right. And then inhale, come back up through center. Grab the other side of the chair with the left hand, reach the right arm up, lean over to the left. Inhale, bring it on back up. Exhale, lean to right. Now notice the placement of your shoulder. You might be reaching forward. You're going to get more in the quadratus lumborum, the muscle that connects the pelvis to the rib cage, if you take the left shoulder back. And then back up. Other side. And really, you can, just like before, play around. So hang out there at the bottom of the breath and notice what feels good. And find your rhythm. It's going to be different depending on your breath capacity here. And you might even close the eyes as the chair becomes more familiar and the movement becomes more natural. And you got about 2 more rounds here. And then when you're done, go ahead and take a seat, close the eyes, and just kind of notice what's already waking up along that central channel in the torso. You might already notice a little bit of shift in perspective. Okay, Let's build a little heat in the legs. So this time you're going to want to open your eyes, look forward, and we're going to try to go right up into standing from the seat. So you can reach the arms forward for counterweight, and then drive the heels down and stand up. Now, that might have been challenging for some of us. So what you can do is sit down, come back to the chair, and use the hands for a little help lifting off. And we'll come back up. Do this 4 more times. So you got to kind of trust that the chair is going to be there. Lower slowly, take the hips back, and you've really got to use your glutes as the weight shifts back into the heels. 2 more. And just kind of, if you fall or lose a little balance, you can laugh. That's fine. Last one. Good job. Go ahead and shake it out a little bit. We'll come over to the back of the chair. So I'm going to take my chair and kind of spin it around. So I have it here just in case I need it. And we're going to do some standing postures. My right foot is forward. My right toes point directly forward, and my right knee stacks over my right ankle. My left heel is down. The outer edge of my left foot presses into the mat. And this is a setup here for Warrior One. I can use my chair for balance, or if I want, I can take my hands to my hips. Full variation of the pose here, the arms reach up towards the ceiling, but you don't have to go there. So we'll begin with some dynamic movement connected to breath, and then we'll kind of hold for a few and see how we do. So go ahead and inhale, straighten the right knee, and then exhale, bend. And if this feels really easy, hold on to that chair, look down, and step your left foot back a little more so you get deeper into the pose. What we don't want is you trying to intensify the stretch or the strengthening by taking the knee past the ankle. So once you've reset the feet, go ahead and begin to reconnect the movement with the breath. So every exhale, we drop in, and every inhale, we straighten. Now notice your posture. So we talked earlier about bringing the shoulder heads back. Can you find that here? Can you bring the shoulder heads back, but at the same time, keep the ribs hugging in towards each other instead of letting them kind of splay out? Some people that reach the arms up will keep them up, or you might bring them back down as you straighten. Good job. Now we're going to stay in this leg and open up to Warrior Two. So you can, again, have your chair there handy for you. The way that this works is now my back foot, the outer edge of the foot is parallel with the back edge of the mat. The front foot basically stays the same. Typically, you'll find alignment by that right heel moving in line with the inner arch of the left foot, right at the center of the left foot there. And the same idea with the knee. It stays right over the ankle. You should be able to see the inside of the right foot. So I'm going to find the safety in the knee placement. And then we're going to do the same thing. So we bend and then straighten. Or you can take left hand to left hip and use the chair for support. And straighten, bend, and straighten. Now, the gaze becomes pretty important here in these poses. So rather than looking at the screen or kind of looking all over the place, why don't you pick a place that you can see directly in front of you? And then we're going to hold here for 4. So find the knee, stack it over the ankle. Strong back leg. Don't forget about your left leg. Really lift up on the left quad. Can you, again, find the engagement of the lower abdominals? One more here. Okay, on the next inhale, straighten the right leg, and then see if you can start to lean your right shoulder towards the chair. You can hold on, and then send the left hip back. What I'm doing is I'm pressing down through the ball of my right foot. So the big toe mound there on my right foot. And then so basically from the right knee down, I'm pushing down. From the quad and up, I'm lifting. And if you feel good, you could take the right hand to the right shin. Some people reach the left arm up. One more. Use the strength in the legs. Don't lose that to rise. Good job. Come forward. We'll switch sides. So my left foot steps forward. My right foot is at the back of the mat. This is that warrior one stance. I've got a 45-degree angle at the back foot. Check the left knee. Find the stability in the structure of the legs. And then choose your arm placement. And then inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Remember, the chair is there for you. And if you want to lengthen the stance, slide that back foot back and then go a little deeper. Recheck the position of the knee there. We've got about 3 more of these. What about the right hamstring? Is it working? For 2, 1. Drop in, hold for a couple breaths, and then we're going to set up for warrior 2. So this time we're going to open up to the right. So take your right heel, spin it back so that the outer edge of the right foot is parallel with the back edge of the mat. Realign your knee with your ankle. Can you see the inside of the left foot? This one's trickier because the knee is more likely to kind of tweak itself and move inward. So you want to be able to see the foot. Catch the chair if you want to use it, or take hands to hips. Traditional arms reach out like this, like a T. And then we'll go ahead and inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. And as you become more familiar, straighten. Exhale, bend. With the pose, keep going at your own pace. You'll maybe start to play around once you're in the full variation of the pose with how it feels inside. So it's really easy to forget because there's so much stuff going on. What's turned on, what's supposed to be working, what's supposed to be soft. And so really my advice on that is start at the feet, make sure they're in the right position, and then you just kind of work your way up. Let's hold for 5. So I'm noticing that I can ground my left heel and traction it back towards my right foot. I noticed that my right leg is kind of soft, so I could really straighten and strengthen the back of the leg. My inner thighs are kind of opening away from each other. My low belly is turned on, my chest is lifted, my gaze is set. For 2, 1 more. All right, let's set up for triangle pose. Straighten the left knee, take the right hip back, and then just start to lean in towards the chair. You might kind of reach down further on the chair. You could totally do that. But what's happening here is my right hip is definitely pulling back, and it's almost in the same line as my left hip. So rather than squaring the hips like a warrior 1, it's actually completely open. And our tendency is to try to aim for the depth. It's not the case. What we want is length in the left side. So whatever that takes. And if you take left hand to left shin, you can actually use the strength of your arm there to lengthen out your side body. The shoulders might want to move in towards the ears, soften. You got 1 more breath. Easy coming out. Slowly rise. Good job. Look forward. You could use your chair to step forward. Let's find chair pose from here. So chair pose, I'm going to take my feet about hip width distance, and I'm just going to lean my hips back like we did before. I'm going to get kind of light in my toes, and then maybe reach my arms forward. My navel is lifting in. That's my center. And then I might just play with kind of softening where my tendencies are to strain. So that's for me, my shoulders and my jaw. For you, it might be your brow, your tongue. 1 more breath. Straighten it out. Good job. Shake it out. Okay. For this next pose, we're going to balance. So our legs are warm. This I wouldn't do this without having some warm legs, because what you want is awareness. So we've got the blood flow. I'm going to take my hand here to my chair. I'm going to ground the sole of my left foot and take my right foot and place it on the inside of the left leg. So my left hand's at my left hip just to avoid like my arm swinging around here. If I want to slide it up a little more, I can. I might even grab the shin and bring the foot all the way up on the thigh. What you want to avoid is locking out the left leg, the left knee is really what I mean. So some people will just like straighten it out all the way. What happens when you do that is you're putting a lot of tension on the ligaments around the knee, and then you're also putting yourself at risk if you were to take the sole of your foot to the inner aspect of the knee. You could actually hurt yourself. So try to keep that, if this is new, try to keep that foot above or below the knee and keep a little micro bend in the standing leg. These stationary standing postures require gaze. It's a lot about the gaze. So pick an area where an imperfection on the wall, or maybe that line where the ceiling meets the wall, and find this laser-like focus. Some people will go without the chair. Some people like to grab opposite elbows behind the back while still engaging the core. For 2. One more. Beautiful. Grab your chair, release, shake it out. You can turn to face the other way, and we'll do the same thing. So the sole of the left foot presses to the inner right leg. Remember, micro bend stays in the right knee. And then once you've got your variation here, go ahead and imagine like you're externally rotating. So like my hips are opening up away from each other like the pages in a book. And then even that standing leg, you're actually feeling some external rotation there. And then once you've got the structure, really bring awareness to the gaze. And let things get still, quiet. Maybe you played with the arms last time. Make these branches, or take the bind. For 2. One more. Good job. Shake it out. Okay, let's do a little shoulder stretch, and then we'll play with another balancing posture. So this shoulder stretch is my variation of down dog. I think it's like a down dog or maybe a puppy pose. But we're going to put a little bend in the knees and grab a hold of the top of the back of the chair. And then we're going to just fire up the backs of the legs. They should be nice and warm, and drop the chest in towards the floor. Now, instead of just collapsing and kind of forgetting about my arm muscles and my shoulder muscles, I'm actually going to engage a little bit to provide some short support for the shoulder girdle. My navel is lifted, and notice that you still get a really nice stretch even when you engage. So you don't have to go to the edge of your flexibility to find a good stretch. You can still remain engaged and find stretch in your active range of motion. For 3, 2, 1. Slowly come on up. Okay, here's the one of my favorite standing postures, Warrior 3. So what we'll do is make sure we have enough room behind us. And let me show you where we're going. I'm going to extend my standing leg backwards. So my chair is still going to be my support, but I'm going to use my standing leg to stabilize. That's really the root. And then my right leg extends back. So to set up, hold on to your chair. Give yourself about legs length distance between your hands and the left foot. And then from here, just kind of send your hips back, keep a little bend in the left knee, and pick your right foot up and just hover it like an inch off the floor before doing anything. Notice what you've done. You've plugged your right femur bone into your hip joint. Good. Keep your right toes exactly where they are. So nothing changes in the direction of the toes except you're sending the right heel back, 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 back. So tendency is to externally rotate at the right hip. We're not doing that. We're internally rotating for 3. Imagine like there's a wall behind you. You're going to drive the sole of the foot into for 2. Now to come up, we're going to use the back of the left leg to stand for 1. Whew, that's good. Shake it out. We'll do the other side. Give yourself some distance here. Feet hip width, a little bend in the knees. Ground the right foot. Start to extend, extend, extend the left leg back behind. And then try to keep your chest lifted instead of slouching, and the chair can really help with that. Keep a micro bend in the right knee. Remember the left toes point down for 3. 2, how steady is the breath? Can you make it as smooth as it was when we first started? 1 more. All right, fire up the back of the right leg and then slowly come to standing. Good job. Shake it out. All right, go ahead and grab your chair so that you can have a seat. Time to slow it down a little bit. I'm going to grab my strap this time because I've got really tight shoulders and I need some help here. So grab your belt or your strap and we'll come into that seated shape that we were in before, where we were kind of closer towards the end of the chair and we were nice and upright and tall. I'm going to take my right thigh and cross it over my left like this. So we're setting up for eagle pose seated. I'm going to take my right arm and take it underneath my left like this. I can double wrap my arms if I want to, or I can keep it this way. All right, so from here, go ahead and inhale, reach the elbows up, and then your hands are probably like kind of towards you and in the face. Can you move your fingers away? Now find your collarbones, right there at your chest, and see if you can broaden. Move the collarbones away from each other. Now inhale, get a little longer. Now keep that length in the spine. Exhale, can you tap your elbows towards your knees? So your legs have to be strong here. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Use that engagement of the inner thighs connected to the core to rise back up. Inhale. Exhale, we're going to tap. Inhale, come on back up. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale up. We got 1 more. Exhale, we tap. Inhale, come back. And then release. Shake out the shoulders here for a moment. All right, next thing on this side, I'm going to take my strap and set it up for what's called kind of Gomukhasana. So my right elbow is going to bend just above my head, and I'm holding on to the strap. My right thumb points down. My left arm is going to reach out to the left, and the left thumb points down. I bend my left elbow so that my left hand reaches behind my back, and then I hold on to the strap. So let me show you what it looks like here. So you can see I could walk my hands closer to each other with the strap. Once I get to a place where I feel some opening, I put some tension on the line here so that I'm active. Again, like before, we're finding that stretch at in our active range rather than just like sinking and softening into our flexibility. We're building strength around our joints. So you could stay upright, of course, or you could exhale, work on leaning forward. Keep the tension there between the hands. Keep the back of the head lifted. It might be pressing into the right wrist or fist, and that's okay. Ground the left foot and really press into the left foot so much that you feel the left glute turn on. One more. Inhale, come up. Good job. Release. All right, one more thing on this side. Shake the shoulders out. We're going to take a little figure four shape. One of my favorites here. So what I do is I just slide my right ankle to the lower left thigh. I flex my right foot and my right toes back so that there's engagement here in the muscles around the knee. That's going to keep my knee protected if I decide to go a little deeper in the stretch. So option one, you hang here. You could grab the edges of the chair, work on lifting the chest and really pressing that right thigh down towards the floor. Option two, you could take a little fold forward, try to keep a long spine as you lean. So my shoulders continue to pull back, but my chest pulls forward. Option three, there's a twist here. You could work your right elbow to the sole of the right foot and press the palms together. That's pretty intense. So if you feel intense sitting up, stay here. Be in that intensity. You don't have to go all the way. For two, one more. Easy, coming out slowly. You'll release that twist and we'll rise. Good job. Go ahead and shake out the legs under the cross there. And we'll move into the other side. So this time, left leg crosses over right. We're doing eagle. So left arm underneath right, like this. Some people will go like this. Flex your left foot and then squeeze the inner thighs together. Press the right foot down so you feel your right outer hip turn on, and then start to reach the arms up, up, up. Hands move away. Shoulders move back. Can you hug the navel in? Get a little taller here. Stay or exhale. If you're with me, we're going to tap the elbows to the knee. And then inhale, come back up. Exhale, we tap. Inhale on up. Exhale, tap. Come back up. One more. Bring it forward. And rise. Beautiful. Release that. Shake out the arms. Grab your strap. And then this time, we're going to bend the left elbow. Reach the right arm, catch the strap with the left hand. The left thumb points down. Reach the right arm out to the right. The right thumb points down. And then you bend the right elbow. So our right shoulder is an internal rotation. You hold on to the strap, maybe walk the hands a little bit closer to each other. It's probably going to feel way different on this side. Then once you find a spot that's good for you, pull a little tension on the line, broaden the chest, squeeze the inner thighs together. Inhale here, stay, or exhale. Keep that long spine and just fold forward. So the goal is not to take like my chin to my knee. It's really to stay lifted and engaged in my thoracic spine. My spinal extensors are working. For two. Good job. For one. That's it. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, release. You can lower the strap here, or just keep it like on your chair, just in case you want to use it later. Find your figure four shape, left ankle to lower right thigh. Flex the left foot. Try to make it nice and smooth between the left ankle and the left heel. And then flex, 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 engage the foot. Inhale, you could stay lifted in the chest, grab a hold of the edges of the chair as you press the left thigh down. Or exhale, you might just kind of rest the hands there and lean forward. Again, maintaining the extension in the thoracic spine. You can stay or you can twist. You could do that elbow to the sole of the left foot and press the palms together. Just try to breathe. for 2. One more. Okay. Easy, easy, easy coming out. We'll shake out the legs and come back to a seat. Now, we're going to just kind of slow things down and take a final rest. Couple of different variations here. If you are not able to get down to the floor, or if you have a real hard time getting up once you're on the floor, well, you can stay in your chair. And if you want this to be more supported, you could lean back in your chair and just kind of let the back of the chair support you. If you want to take legs up the chair, you could spin the chair around so that the seat is facing you. You could sit on the floor, slide your bottom towards the chair, and then take the feet towards the seat of the chair. The feet will eventually find the back of the chair, and then my calves are supported by the seat. And once you get there, you'll see why this is so awesome. It's such a great low back release. And then no matter what variation you're in, you can take one hand to heart and one hand to navel and soften the eyelids or close the eyes completely. And just allow the breath now to become more natural and find its rhythm. And if you're still holding on in the shoulders, try to soften there. And imagine that thoughts and worry is just dripping out of the mind, through the back of the skull, and this absorbed by the ground beneath you. And there's nothing here but awareness. You are completely supported. Relax the mind. Slowly begin to deepen the breath. Imagine that breath filling up the spaciousness you've just created in the body, in the mind. You can start to reawaken your hands and feet by taking little movements in the fingers and the toes, and the wrists and the ankles. And then go ahead and just hug the knees in. If you're seated, just start to move back towards the edge of your seat so that you find that supported tall spine. If you're on the floor, roll over to one side and you can use one arm as a little pillow. And then the other arm, you can just kind of rest and allow that the hand of that arm to be supported by the floor. You can press into that palm and just come up to a comfortable seat. And then you'll eventually sit tall with the wrists draped over the knees and the palms can just face up. We'll keep those eyes soft. And relax the jaw, the mouth, the brow. Before we move on, just bring awareness to the palms. And notice the air as it moves across the skin here, and the fingers, all the way to the fingertips. And just consider the potential that lies in these very hands. If you moved with intention and awareness in your daily life. Take that awareness of your potential and just bring both palms together, heart center. On the next inhale, bring the thumbs up just to touch the brow. And then on the exhale, you could take a little bow forward, sealing your practice today. Namaste. Thank you.